Healthy Scratch Red Wings Report, presented by 5v5hockey.com.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Healthy Scratch Red Wings Report. It's Bushy with you once again. Today we're going to talk about some draft targets for the Red Wings. So the draft is coming up this Friday. I know everyone gets excited around this time of year because free agency is coming up as well. Lots of changes with the team, who's coming back, who's moving where. But with the rookie draft, the entry draft, you never really know, and a lot can happen or not a whole lot, because we hear rumors all the time about trades being made on the draft floor and trade ups and trade downs and what are the teams going to do. Here's what I think the Red Wings are going to do. Listening to Steve Yzerman, who doesn't tip his hand on literally anything, they have the 15th pick. They're right in the middle of the first round. Decent spot to be in. Can they trade up? Can they trade down? I don't really think there's anything that's going to happen where they go and trade up for somebody. Trading back is always kind of a pipe dream, like, hey, let's get some more picks. I think they're going to use that pick at 15. Most of the time what happens, the realistic thing that is that we use the pick. The only time that I can think that we've traded up in the past little while, just off the top of my head, and if anybody knows more, let me know, but it's the Sebastian Cossa trade where they went from, I think they were around 18 and went up to 15, something like that, to go up and get Sebastian Cossa. So that's the only time that I saw it. It made sense for them at the time. I guess they knew that maybe someone else was targeting him. That's the realistic nature of the draft, where teams want to use their picks. And if you want to move up, you're going to pay for it and might not make a whole lot of sense. So Steve Yzerman's going to do his best in terms of like, hey, let's go ask about it. I know he said, they always ask about the top 4 or 5 picks, but it's just never something that will ever happen because the value is just way too much to trade for. Now, I know I'm not usually one to put clickbait, but I put some of the top targets. Here's the reality of the NHL entry draft. No one knows, let alone me. I will tell you, I can break down rosters. I can look at player stats. We can break down trades. We can look at roster construction, salary, contracts, all of that stuff, because it's statistical and it makes sense to me. The NHL entry draft is something that, to me, for a long time, hasn't made a whole lot of sense. Not in terms of like, oh, this is stupid. I love the draft and I will be watching it. I really wanted to go to LCA to watch it. I'm not going to be able to, unfortunately. But one day I'll get out there. What I would say for Red Wings fans is temper your expectations. I think it's okay to have maybe some prospects that you're really excited about. And you're like, I hope the Red Wings get this guy. The reality for me was a few years ago, I hit a point where I was done getting excited or upset about the Red Wings and who they drafted. Because the harsh reality of the situation is I don't know any of these players. I don't. Because you know why? I'm not a scout. And neither are pretty much all of us. Unless any Red Wings scouts are watching my videos. And in that case, what the hell are you doing here, man? Go work and find the next Zetterberg, okay? I used to get fixated on specific prospects. And it would be for some of like the dumbest reasons. It might be just because they had a lot of goals in junior. Or I watched a 3-minute highlight video and went, wow, this guy's really, really good. Did you see this Thomas Yurko guy? Doing all the puck tricks and doing all this stuff. They draft him in the second round. I'm like, holy crap, they got him. He was okay. He was a bottom 6 forward, and he's out of the league. So it's one of these things where, like, the biggest example that I tell some of my buddies. I have a friend who's a Montreal Canadiens fan. Bless that guy for being a Canadiens fan. Every single year is like, Bushy, I don't know, like, what are they gonna do? Like, if they don't draft this guy, like, I'm gonna freak out. And when they picked Slavkovsky, it was like, oh no, what did they do? When they picked Kotkaniemi, oh no, like, this is gonna suck. I just was like, you know what, man? Don't get so upset about who they're gonna pick. They're gonna take who they think the best player is. The example that I use Red Wings-wise that we all know who I'm gonna talk about, it's Filip Zadina. I was so pumped that he fell to number 6 because he was supposed to go number 2 or number 3. He fell all the way to 6 and we picked him, and I thought, oh my God, we have our scorer for the next 10 years. He's going to be a 30 to 40 goal guy. He's a pure goal scorer. He's going to help the power play. And he did not pan out at all, really. I mean, he had some decent games. He had some okay stats, but he was never living up to the billing of a 6th overall pick. And we waived him, terminated. He's in San Jose, not doing great in San Jose. It was like a minus 40 something. So he didn't pan out. And I was so in on Filip Zadina. I was so pumped when they got him. I remember them picking him and me like jumping out of my seat going like, no effing way. Well, guess what? Quinn Hughes got picked after him. Evan Bouchard got picked after him. Noah Dobson got picked after him. And I know you can play that game with a lot, but just think of if we had one of those 3 guys and how much further ahead in this rebuild that the Red Wings would be having someone like a Hughes, a Dobson, or an Evan Bouchard on the back end with Mo Seider. Be unbelievable. Speaking of Mo Seider, I thought that was a terrible pick. I think we all did. You know why? Because we look at mock drafts. We listen to the experts. And, okay, he was supposed to go like 26th overall. When I heard what Yzerman said after the Mo Seider pick, he was telling Elliot Friedman, Elliot Friedman's going, well, the first surprise of the draft, what did you see? And Yzerman's like, I mean, we had him ranked as like the top defenseman. I know he was low in like mock drafts, but we're not going to get him with our second pick, and we think he's the guy, and we're going to pick him. And I heard that and went, you know what? He's right. They have their own lists, right? We can't just go off of Craig Button's list. We can't just go off of a mock draft that we see online, because I think a lot of these mock drafts, if I did one, it would be BS. I don't know any of these players. I haven't watched them at length. And if you have, good for you. And if there's maybe a team, say a junior team that you're a big fan of, and there's a player on that team where you're like, damn, this guy, he's really, really good. I've watched him all season. That's fine. I'm not going to, fault you for it. But to try to put together a list, this is what scouts do, and they get it wrong a lot of the time. And that's just the reality of it. And so I haven't been really like locked in on the draft. When Nate Danielson got picked or Marco Kasper got picked, I had my buddies go, oh, what do you think of the pick? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't have an opinion on it because I didn't know who Marco Kasper is. I didn't know who Nate Danielson was. What I would say is whoever the Red Wings pick this year, hope they're going to be a stud, because that's what I do, and it makes it a lot more fun going into the draft. Whoever they pick, I'll YouTube them. I'll watch some of their video. I'll watch all that stuff because now they're a part of our system. I don't have to hope and pray that guy falls to us, right? Because sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. And I know that's like such a down the middle, sitting on the fence type thing, but that is something that one of the only things that I'll sit on the fence about is the NHL draft is a shit show. It's either going to work for your team or it's just not. So going into the draft, if you guys have someone that you really, really like, I want you to educate me about it, okay? The bottom line is I'm never going to fault anybody for watching the draft, having a list of players that they like. If that's something that you like to do and you live and die with, the Red Wings, and here's the players that you really, really want, that's okay. And I'm never going to fault anybody for that. But just temper your expectations, because that might not happen. And the guy that they pick that you didn't want might turn into another Mo Seider. Just keep that in mind, that might actually happen. So again, quick little video here, just a little bit of a quick draft primer, temper your expectations. Let's go into it. I hope the Red Wings pick a stud. We're talking about him in a few years as like a potential cornerstone for this franchise. We get another Dylan Larkin type player or a Lucas Raymond type player at 15. So enjoy the draft, guys. We're going into free agency as well. And I hope the Red Wings make a lot of good moves, more good than bad. I don't want another Justin Hall situation. Anyway, so draft on Friday, first round at least, and then throughout the weekend, we'll see what the Red Wings do. And if they make some crazy trades, come on in and check it out, because I will have a video. So until that happens, I will see you in the next one.